Hey, it's Aaron, and today we've got a 2022 Mercedes Benz EQS. For all intents and purposes, this is the electric S-Class from Mercedes.
This review brought to you by Massaging Seats.
It's going to be kind of a short video today. I'm not going to do my usual full walk around. I'm going to talk about the car and call it good because it is very, very brisk out here, and we got a lot of snow last night. You can probably see some of that in the background. There's still some on the car, so yeah. Anyway, this is a phenomenal vehicle. I've had it for quite a while now, several days, and I really enjoy it. So this in particular is the AMG variant. It also has the so that means larger brakes, a little more pep to the go, some AMG stuff like the sport seating and so on, and also what else does that include? A whole lot of goodies. It's not a cheap car. This is about $160,000 as we're looking at it, but this is about the most expensive version you can get. Lots of nice stuff, very well done, all-wheel drive, which has been important in this weather, and as I said before, fully electric. So let's go into the electric part first. EPA range says 350 miles. I've been getting pretty close to that, a little bit better on some cases, and a little worse when the weather's like this, primarily because you're running the heat all the time, and also because I have the all-wheel drive system engaged in snow mode, which makes it a little more careful, right? So you end up losing slightly more power, but even then I've still gotten 280 miles of range out of this car without trying. That's even with like the dry pavement days when I first got it and I was just launching at every light because that's so much fun to do. 0 to 60 time, I did not actually measure that because I try to get comfortable with the car and then do it, and you see what happened in the time that I got comfortable with the car. But I think that it would be very easy to be at 4 seconds or less with this car. Most of the electrics that I've driven, even the mundane ones, do pretty well with the 0 to 60 speed, so I don't see why you couldn't get better than 4 seconds out of this. So let's talk about the battery in this. Let's talk about that charging and that other stuff. I have a 240 volt 50 amp charging system in my garage, dedicated, so the circuit is not shared with anything. Charging this car I got it all the way down, the lowest I went to was about 20%, and I charged it, in fact that was just yesterday I charged it, and from that roughly 20% mark all the way to pretty close to full. I didn't go full because I had to unplug it when the snow started coming, for another reason I'll get to, but I would have got to full in less than 9 hours. So I'm gonna say it's probably 8.5 hours to fully charge this, maybe 9 hours if you're all the way to empty. Most people driving this are not going to be doing that. You don't run your fuel tank below a quarter tank normally, right? Why would you run your electric car to 0 before you charge it? It just seems ludicrous. So anyway, yeah. So charging is really good. It'll take as much power as I could give it, which is about almost 41 amps, around 40.5 amps, I think is the peak that I could get out of that 50 amp. So charging is really good. As far as the drive system, you have a motor up here and a motor back there, and it's very good motivation. I don't remember the kilowatts. You can look that up, I'm sure. I'm not going to bother. Just know that it's wicked fast. I don't think anybody cares about the horsepower when you're getting to this point. At this point, you just want to know how fast can I go to 60. Does it go on the freeway and not have problems? The answer is yes on all of that. In fact, I do a regular freeway run for only about 2 miles every day, taking my daughter to school, and this has 0 issues going to the on-ramp, 0 issues getting to the 75 mile an hour speed limit before I even get to the freeway to merge, and 0 issues going faster or slower than that at any point. So very, very well done there. So what was the other thing? Oh, the cold weather. So because we had this and because we got pretty close to 0 last night Fahrenheit for our outdoor temperature, as the snow started coming and it got dark, About 10 p.m. or so last night, I unplugged this, noted what the range estimation was and the battery percentage were, and then put all that away, left it overnight not plugged in, let that cold weather do its thing, came out in the morning this morning, turned everything on to look at where we're at. I lost 1 mile of range overnight. So that's phenomenal. That kills all of the memes about dying on the freeway because your electric car doesn't have a battery. Yeah, on the battery power that I had in this morning, I could have sat on the freeway with the heater blasting, stuck in the weather with all the other people, and I would have outlasted all the gasoline engines and then some, I'm sure. So yeah, that myth is kind of BS. But then the other thing I want to point out with cold weather that's beauty with electric cars and higher end cars, gasoline or diesel as well, is the defrost system. Because they use a heat pump, which some of the gas and diesel cars are also using now, because they use a heat pump, they produce heat much quicker. You don't have to wait for the engine to heat up. So in an electric car, you don't have to wait for anything to heat up. Within a matter of seconds from starting the car and turning on the defrost, the hot air is coming out of the vents and working on that windshield. So I can clear the windshield on this, which is actually smaller than the windshield on our van. We have a Kia Sedona minivan. I can clear the windshield on this in about half the time it takes for that 6-cylinder engine in the Kia Sedona with no heat pump help to clear its windshield. That's a huge bonus with electrics that I don't think gets talked about, because when people talk about cold weather, all they seem to want to know is what kind of range do you lose in the cold weather, and the honest truth is you don't lose that much. Because of the efficiency of the heat pump and because you have heated seats and all of that in here, the climate really doesn't suck up that much power. I didn't do like a formal sit down and figure it out and, you know, hang out in the car for half an hour or whatever and do all the math. But I can tell you just from experience, you don't lose that much. You will on some of the cheaper EVs, but you will not on the newer and more expensive, well-made EVs, which is true of every car on the market. Your Cadillac Escalade is going to be a whole lot more comfortable and be a whole lot quicker about doing some things than is your Nissan Versa. Okay, that's the way of the world. You buy the cheap car, you end up having to pay some price for it, right? So anyway, that's what I got. I don't have much else to say. This is a great vehicle. I think Mercedes did a beautiful job. So there you go. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon. I can't feel my hands.
Subscribe.